Right, guys, the narrative is back. We are going to do 3 videos over the next 10 days or something like that, talking about the title pretenders, which sounds offensive, but it's not, I promise you. If you want to be a part of these kind of conversations and, very importantly, win free stuff, we're literally giving free stuff to our audience. That's how much we love you, okay? So join the Discord server. There's a link in the description. We've already given away about 30 different things already, and we've got more. So in this episode, if you get yourself into the Discord server and put in your name, your Discord server name, we will message 5 of you, and we're going to give you 5 pairs of Drip socks, okay? Drip socks are really, really good. I've got a pair. I use them for 5-a-side. It's amazing. I've got terrible groins, and it allows me to turn without slipping all over the place and pulling my groin. So if you don't want to pull your groin, then join the JLA Discord server. But also, most importantly, there's an amazing community there. There was before. It's now up to about 7,000 people. And we've got a Discord channel for every single team where you guys can make friends and have a community in your own right as well. So free stuff, get to be on the channel, and get to make friends. What's not to like? Right, let's get into it. I'm going to start off with Liverpool, who I'm rooting for Liverpool this year because I was pushing for them at the start of the season. And I wanted it to be about an attacking, flowing team and the way that Klopp plays, and I wanted that to actually mean something. But after last year, it had been a bit difficult. So beneath me is Ali, to the... Which way is it? To the left of me? Hang on. This way, we've got Lewis, and down the corner, we've got Rich, who are all Liverpool fans, all part of the Discord server as well. So I've got a few different questions when it comes to Liverpool. First thing I want to get to is the strengths of Liverpool, because I think when we get to the end of this, I want to figure out if you believe that this group of players are capable of winning the title or not. But let's talk strengths first. Ali, let me come to you. What would you suggest is the main strengths of Liverpool right now?
I think the different ways we can go on about attacking, and the versatility of our players and their kind of tactical awareness, that makes them have multiple different ways of getting into goal scoring chances. I think the most obvious example of that is how Salah's role has shifted into quite a deeper role, which surprised me a lot because, I mean, he's still our top goal scorer. He still has 10 goals, but he still has the... he's adjusted a little bit in terms of dropping in a little bit deeper. Trent inverting scared me a little bit, but it's working. I don't think it brings the best out of him, but we also know he is capable of, he's one of the best crossers of the ball in the world. So if we need that, we'll use it too. But there's so many different ways we can attack. Darwin Nunez being back in the side means that we've increased that even more because he can just bother defenders to no end. He'll stick to a defender, drag them out of position, and then he can get runners in behind. That's how he got a lot of his assists to Salah. Because Salah gets in behind defenders that Darwin Nunez occupies. So there's just so many different ways we can attack, and that's great.
Yes. And then that was what I thought might be the reason why Liverpool could be one of the sort of runners and riders this year. Lewis, going into the season, especially off the back of last season and a lot of change, did you feel confident going into it? And is this what you expected to see? Or have there been elements of this Liverpool side that are different to previous teams and have that bit of differentiation?
Well, I think we finally got a midfield that can actually score goals now. We've got people who can actually contribute going forward, whereas in the past we had the likes of Henderson and Milner and Keita and Ox, who they'd come up every now and then with a goal, but their main role was just functionality in midfield. They were run round, win the ball back, and lay it off to the attackers who are the goal scorers. Now, while we do have those midfielders who have come in, they've all hit the ground running, which is fantastic. But I do think to that extent, we've sort of maybe overachieved so far. I think because they've come in so well, there's a lot of sort of perception of we should be going for the title, which absolutely we should be going for the title in any season. But there's a lot of people who now have this idea of we should be winning it. And I think, yes, we've started off very well. Yes, all the players have gelled. Maybe Endo's a bit of a question mark, but Gravenberch, McAllister, Szoboszlai all fit in really well. We still need to sort of limit it and remember that in the summer we have lost our captain, we have lost our vice captain, we have lost the best CDM we've had for the past 10 years. And while things are looking good at times now, it's still too soon to be jumping the gun and saying, title. I've always been a big proprietor of when you're going through a season of change or transition, top four and a trophy like the Carabao Cup, just to keep things ticking along to build to a title, a real full-on title push is really important. And I think that should be where our expectations lie this season, as opposed to all guns blazing, win the league, win everything.
Okay. Rich, in terms of question marks then, like no one's guaranteed to win it and everyone has fallibility. What do you feel like are the question marks that even you, as 3 Liverpool fans watching every single minute of Liverpool, you're still going, I'm not sure about that and I'm not sure about that. What aren't you certain about when it comes to Liverpool?
Yeah, well, there's definitely, I think everyone's been talking about the number 6. I don't know if I can talk for everyone, but when it got to the end of the transfer window, that was kind of my biggest concern, especially after high-profile failures to get players like Caicedo and Lavia. And as much as I talk smack about them now, they would have been appreciated as members of the squad. So I'd say it's definitely the number 6. And there has been questions around centre-backs. I feel like Van Dijk has been getting back to his best, though. His numbers have been looking a lot better. He's been looking a lot more solid as he's had some time to build. It seems like he's adapting to the captaincy well. Even then, we're still conceding goals. So, and there's been some games particularly where McAllister struggled. Like, for example, against Luton, I thought McAllister was really poor. And there has been games where he's looked really well too. I think when a game becomes a physical battle, he struggles a lot more because he is kind of like a small guy. He's a lot more cute on the ball.
Sure. So
when you get teams that are going to bully him, you can get in and exploit that. So I'd still say I've got worries about our defence. I wouldn't sit there and say it's like an open wound that's bleeding out and I'm like, oh my goodness, we have to do something to stop this. Otherwise we're screwed and our season's going to explode. But it's definitely the weak point of our team, I'd say.
So because in terms of the expected goals against, in terms of open play, it's not bad. I guess the problem is, What Liverpool provide an opposition is a bit of opportunity and a bit of openness, right? That's the difference between a Man City and Arsenal, who are at the bottom of this table right now. With both their open play XG is 7.07 for Arsenal, 7.89 for Man City. Yours is 10, and you've actually only conceded 7 goals. So you could spin that 2 ways. One, an element of fortune. I would suggest that it's probably down to Alisson being Alisson, which is normally why you guys are kind of solid when it comes to XG. But defensively then, is it just that, the Klopp way that you believe is why you have those question marks over the defence, Ali, or any of you guys? And feel free to chip in on whenever people are talking, by the way.
Yeah, sorry. You asked Ali, I'll let Ali go first. I want to...
Go on.
Oh, thank you. I think so I did a video on our podcast channel, shamelessly plugging here, but
and the podcast's called and the video's called. Go on.
Just another football podcast, and the video was talking. It's pinned on the channel. It was talking about Liverpool holding themselves back from competing, and that was towards the end of the transfer window. And I felt that that was right after the Newcastle game where we won with 10 men and Darwin Nunez scored a brace. Note that Darwin Nunez was on the bench to start the game.
Yeah.
So that's a whole other thing entirely. I'm really glad Darwin is starting, even though he missed the chance from 2 yards out. But one of the main topic, I think, was how Trent inverting holds us back in 2 ways. One, because he's, again, one of the best crossers of the ball in the entire world. And he was whipping assists into 5'9" forwards. Sadio Mane scoring so many headers in those years of success that we've had before 2021, let's say. And the other thing was, because he inverts, teams are smart now. Teams can, they try to shift their strikers into the right side, get their winger quite high up. And Konate is immediately overloaded, and then you get Konate shifting, you get Van Dijk shifting, you get Robertson shifting before he got injured, and then someone arrives at the back stick and scores. We conceded a lot of chances that way since when that move started last season, which was a makeshift idea to overcome a general form problem, which I didn't think at the time should carry on. But again, it's working, so no complaints really. but I feel like there's still that fallibility in terms of just our right hand side getting a little bit overloaded in a sense, and I feel like just to go back to the number 6 problem is that McAllister is not a 6, and playing him in a 6 is playing him out of position. Endo, sure, he is good, but there's no alternative to him. I feel like his general quality is someone of a back, which is like, it's such a privilege if we're talking about Wataru Endo being a backup, which is, I feel like in a team like Liverpool, expecting to compete on all fronts, that's his general kind of level. But it is working somehow. We just have so much stamina and energy and work rate to first of all, Szoboszlai has been helping out massively in terms of pressing in midfield, so teams don't really have the chance to progress the ball up the field. So there's very little chance of overloading our defense when they can't progress it up there.
I wonder if this is an interesting question, because we're always talking about what could be, what will be, whatever. In your gut, I think, put your hand up. Let me read through the names of who's running hot and who's not. Okay? It's just fine. I mean, I could do it off the top of my head. But if we go through it, players that I'm concerned about. So you put your hand up if you think they're running hot. Virgil van Dijk. Think he's running... Yeah, possibly.
Yeah,
Go on, Lewis. Explain to me, Lewis.
So, yes, he looked fantastic against Brentford, and yes, he is still one of the best centre-backs in the world, without a shadow of a doubt. I think at times he has been caught out as physically he's slowing down slightly. I think he's sort of starting to look more, and I've said it a few times, he's starting to look more like when John Terry was at the end of his career, and he's very switched on. Tactically, he knows where to put himself, but the big thing was when in the 1920 and the 18-19 season, he's beaten Adama Traore for pace. He's out-muscling anyone. Yeah. Now, if anyone sort of gets ahead of him, there's that less chance of him running back and actually catching them, and he has been caught out of it a few times. I think that's... we touched on it before. Ali was talking about our defence, and we've spoken about how we're still letting in chances. In the 18-19 season, we were defensively the best team in the league by a mile. Like, we were competing for Chelsea's record at one point for the least goals conceded. When VAR came in, we started playing a much higher line, because if teams getting behind us and it's offside, they're going to get caught because of VAR. But we had quick centre-backs who could match that. Now Van Dijk is starting to slow down slightly. I just think he is at times getting caught out, but I still think he is one of the best centre-backs in the league. But it's just because he set the standard for himself so high that it's hard to compare. And
I wonder with Van Dijk, where it's one where you need to accept and understand your body, and then the sort of... Because I think he has that fantastic defensive brain as well. Yeah. So it might be one where it's like, oh, I'm not the same player anymore. And then you need to figure that out a little bit. And then maybe next season or the end of this season, we see a Thiago Silva style kind of guy who just doesn't make mistakes. I think maybe that's a little bit harder when it comes to Liverpool, because Liverpool play on the edge like all the time. But yeah, like, people have sort of twisted stuff I've said about Van Dijk recently, kind of suggesting that I don't think he's awesome. Like, he's obviously awesome, but there's, the watermark that he hit. I think he won't hit that same peak. But can you be... Like, a slower player often reads the game better than a fast player, because a fast player's never had to. Yeah. So, but if you've got that IQ to do that in time, then you can figure that out as things move along. Okay, let's keep going. So, what about Szoboszlai? Hands up if you think he's running hot and will calm down.
Calm down? Do you mean like settle down to like a medium level, or?
I think in terms of the output that he's providing right now, do you think he's running hot?
No,
this is the truth. He's him. Is that what you're saying, Ali?
He's him. Yeah. Dominic Szoboszlai is him. Top 3 players at Liverpool right now: Salah, Szoboszlai. Controversially, I'll say Darwin Nunez.
He's still only 22 as well.
I'd probably say Alisson, to be fair.
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking outfield, but yeah, that's a good point.
I'm not putting out Nunez slander. I think he gets way too much hate, but I think it has to be Alisson for me.
Okay, so then we've got, in terms of like, the hot players right now, Szoboszlai. Trent, where are we with Trent? Is he running hot? Defensively when it comes to Trent? Is he not running hot? Is he running cold? Is he a better defender than the world wants to think he is? Because next game, by the way, the next game's Man City. Just to be clear, Jeremy Docking.
Yeah, I don't want to think about that.
Wait, you like terror? But to be fair, I think it always started with that Rashford game, didn't it? With Trent, like Rashford tore him to pieces, and ever since then, I think there's been this stigma that he's never been able to overcome because he has been like done. But the players he gets done by are high level players. Like Vinicius destroys him every time we play Real Madrid. Real Madrid destroys us every time we play Real Madrid. I get PTSD about him, but like Mitoma tore him apart last season, and he does make mistakes and has lapses in concentrations, but I think most of the time he does defend well. But it's when he makes mistakes, it's usually a high-profile game, and a lot of people are watching, and then the lapses of concentration he does make, they don't look good either. Like I remember Mitch getting over him at the start of last season when we drew 2-2 with Fulham, and everyone was talking about that. And so he's not a bad defender, but there's just clearly rooms for improvement.
Okay, let's keep going because I've got some other names here.
Go on.
And again, maybe it's not the running hot. I just kind of want to know a bit of like a temperature check of like where you're at with them. Alexis McAllister, you spoke about him there, Ali. Okay, is he not a 6 for you, or he's not a 6 in a game against competitors for the Champions League? Is it one where look, if you're going to own the ball, then he's okay there, or do you just want him nowhere near that position?
If he's going to play a 6, have another DM next to him and make it a double pivot. Yeah, that's where I am. But a lone 6, sorry, he does get quite overpowered, just physically.
Come on, Rich. I see. Rich is chopping. What's going on?
Yeah.
Go on.
What are you saying, Rich?
I would just say I think we need to be a bit patient with McAllister in the 6. So, just as Ali was mentioning earlier, Salah in this new role out wide is looking great, with making a lot more chances and being a lot more of a provider for the team. I remember when he started it last season, he started out being wide and he wasn't getting as many goals. And everyone was up in arms going, what is Klopp doing playing him out wide? He should be inside scoring goals. And now this season, it's really paying off. And I mean, maybe Klopp wants another 6. I don't know. It's hard to tell right now. We'll have to wait and see what happens. But I think the fact that he's playing him there instead of the guy we brought in as a defensive 6, I think he obviously sees something in there. He obviously feels like his contribution can work. And so I'd say just give him some time and be patient. I mean, this is a season of transition and building up a new team. If obviously a year from now we're still seeing the same problems with McAllister, but even then we've got like this double pivot thing. I think he could prove us wrong.
And I guess you're right. Don't like it's the accompaniment of those players all together, right? Like if you've got if Gravenberch becomes, because actually if you look at your midfielders in terms of combative or somewhat combative, you've not got many. You got Endo, Bajcetic, if you want to say that. Curtis Jones is still not really that kind of guy. And McAllister's, not that guy either. So it's going to be those little parts that you put around him that could kind of allow him to do that. Otherwise, you're going to have to go and get the world-class 6, the Rodri, the Rice, the Partey, or whoever it might be, because that's the way football is right now. Or again, can that reliance on Trent, can that ever get to a point where he does truly make that move and you go and buy a right back?
Sorry, can I just hop in just on the Rodri comment? So Rodri is world class. He's probably the best 6 in the world. His first season at City, he struggled.
I agree.
Destroyed City to the league title, and I remember sitting there thinking, what have they done bringing in this Rodri? He's not Fernandinho. They've made a stupid signing, and now they're paying the price for it. And now we all sit here and this guy is amazing. He doesn't put a foot wrong. As soon as he's out of the team, they're losing games. So I think just
sit tight.
We always want the instant solution, don't we? As football fans, we see something and it doesn't work, screaming at these managers who've been in the game their whole lives and go, "What are you doing? It's not working." And then it does come together. So
okay, hands up on this one. Then don't need explanation. Just as a full stop on your point there, Rich. Hands up. The midfield that you have right now, is that enough to get you, be it 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, without additions, is that midfield good enough to get you to winning a title? Hands up if you think it is. No, you don't think that.
Sadly not.
Okay, interesting.
Sadly not.
Interesting. I think you're one player away, though. That's the thing I would say.
Yeah. I do think we are one defensive midfielder away from winning the Premier League title.
Yeah.
Well, you touched on it there, the CDM. Like, you look at every team that's ever won the Premier League, they've had a rock-solid CDM. Leicester at Kante, Matic at Chelsea, Makelele at Chelsea, City have Rodri, Fernandinho. It's such a key part of the team because it's not only a pivot, but it's the one who's going to break up play. And without that cover, our centre-backs can get exposed at times, especially with Trent coming inverted. So, and I don't think, just to be really quick, you touched on the McAllister thing. I don't think the deep line playmaker necessarily works in England. I think it is more of you just need a brick wall CDM because of the pressure that gets put on the midfielders, the press, so to speak. So we are just that CDM away from really, really challenging.
Darwin Nunez, got to talk about him. Is he running hot, running cold? Where is he? I mean, he's certainly running. He's running loads.
Saying a lot.
I have changed my mind on him, but he will be who he is. Like, that refinement. I thought the whole team was sort of geared up to really create those chances for him. He's scored a lot. He's missed quite a few as well. Again, like, to win a title, can you win a title with Darwin Nunez as your central striker throughout the season? Hands up or hands down?
You can if Salah's there.
Right, yeah. Right, because Salah's constantly a boiling point. Like, he's running hot, but he's just been there for 6 years. So, is he even running hot anymore? So, yeah, I mean, I love what Darwin Nunez brings to that team. I get it now from that side of it. You wonder, I think the thing for me, and the reason I keep putting forward Liverpool as the best option to win the league, aside from Man City, is not just Darwin Nunez, it's all of them. There's so many goals. There's so many answers. Defensively, are there the same amount of answers? Like, I spoke about this in my video recently about Man City. Like, Man City were poor against Chelsea, but still had so many answers. Be it, right, we're not really taking our chances here of being able to break you down right now. Okay, let's put a cross in where we've got 6 enormous players and someone to put their head on it, or let's go direct a bit quicker and we'll find another way from doing it. People step up for them time and again, and they have, in terms of the building of a squad, it is outrageous. But for Liverpool, that's the thing for me. Just goals are constantly in that team. Diogo Jota gets slept on, I think, a lot in terms of the amount of output that he provides. Salah is still underrated, I think, but Darwin Nunez is. Can his chaos? Is his chaos enough, or will his chaos get in the way? Lewis, let me come to you, because you said something before about, question marks. And the question I wrote down here was, when do you think, or in what situations will the weaknesses of this Liverpool team rear its head and cost you this season, when we're talking about that conversation of winning the league?
Oh, it's tricky, because for all we know, it could have happened already. It's so hard to say. That the draw against Luton could be the costly bit. The result against Tottenham could be the costly part.
Can I play on this then, Lewis? Sorry, just because the fact that you brought that up is interesting to me. I feel like Liverpool fans are more devastated by a singular drop of points than other fans because of the last 3 or 4 years. Is that so? Rao, you're all nodding. So is that just because you just know that Man City are going to be what they are? Could that hurt you? Could that mentality hurt you?
Yeah, City they're a freak of nature in terms of what they get points-wise. And the biggest thing City do is they beat you mentally before you play them or before the season starts. The fact that we've missed out by 1 point and we've went to Anfield 2 last days of the season and missed out on the league by the point means now that every point is important. Like, it's vital. And for us now, when we were saying about Nunez then, is he enough to sort of give us that edge? I think he is, because he'll do the unpredictable and he'll score things that you just should not be scoring, and things that that Bournemouth goal, for example, no one in their right minds attempted it. No one's trying it, but he did, and it won us the game. it's that unpredictability that he brings that could get us 3 points. It's that unpredictability that could get us a draw from a loss or a win from a draw. And at the end of the season, they will add up. And like you said, the fact that we missed out by 1 point each time, his unpredictability could be the difference between level on points going to goal difference and us winning the league or missing out by 1 point. So I have absolutely no doubts that he can have an effect.
Because it's it could be the bad effect as well. That's the the Luton game. You should have won that game, obviously.
Yeah.
Right. And he misses those chances. Okay.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
I'd say mentality, actually, is that we have a moment for that.
Of course, mate. Yeah.
I just say as well, like in a lot of the interviews I've seen with the players, I don't think they're thinking the same way as we are. I remember watching the interviews with Trent after we played against Chelsea, and we got dominated most of the game, came away with a point. And they say to Trent, "What's the goals for the season?" He goes, "We want to win the league." They interviewed Soboslai a few days ago on some like international thing or something. I don't know, but I saw the quotes. It was all over Instagram of him saying, "We want to win everything." He's like, "That we're Liverpool. This is what we do." And there seems to be a bit of this shift of us being a bit more vocal and saying like, "We're here to win. We're here to compete." And so I don't think the players are thinking the same way as we are.
So the mentality's there from the team itself. Final thing before I ask you, I want to ask you a big question at the end. But I did want to touch on European football. Ali, how have you found European football this year? Obviously on a Thursday. Have you enjoyed somewhat? Obviously, you've still got the same fixture congestion, but a different level of team that you're playing against. Although obviously, I know you lost the last one, but which allows you to kind of rotate that a little bit more. I also wonder, like, I'll be honest, no one's watching the qualifying games of those ones. Do you feel that? Do you feel like you've been able to kind of go under the radar that little bit?
Kind of, and it's been a little bit odd for me personally because I having a full-time job now means that we're playing in the middle of the day, so I don't get to watch any European football, unfortunately. But on the day of a Europa League fixture, it does feel quite like, oh, they have a Europa League game today against Lask. Oh, interesting. Yeah. It does go under. It does allow us to go under the radar a little bit, ever so slightly. I still feel an odd feeling about missing out on a Champions League night.
Sure. But do you think it's benefiting or not? Or Lewis, what do you think?
It's beneficial to. Sorry, Lewis, you can go ahead with that.
Oh yeah, I think it's beneficial because I said before here that because it's the Europa League, Van Dijk isn't having to play every game. Salah isn't having to play every game. If it was the Champions League, they'd play all those matches and the league, and I think that may be why we're doing so well to an extent in the league, because players are getting the rest they need, especially the injury-prone players like Konaté and Matip. So I think the Europa League's been perfect for us.
Okay, right. Let's finish on this one. What is success for Liverpool this year? If you could suggest to what feels like it's fair to suggest to all Liverpool fans of what Liverpool should be achieving this year, and how do you think the rest of the season will pan out? Rich, I'm going to come to you first. Go for it.
I had a dream the other night that Liverpool won the League Cup and the Europa League, so it's now going to happen, guys. Nothing else is acceptable. No, I'm just kidding, obviously. But I think have to get the Champions League. We have to get back into the Champions League. That's kind of a non-negotiable for success. Whether that ends up being through getting into the top four or maybe scraping in through winning the Europa League. If we win it, I think English fans, we don't take the Europa League seriously enough. We always say we're going to win it, and then Sevilla win it anyway. So we'll see what happens with that. So yeah, I'd love to see a trophy, but I think the real criteria is get back into the Champions League.
Okay, is that so, Lewis? I'm going to come to you. What's a sort of B+ season for Liverpool then? Because I think, like you say, the mentality of the players that they want to go and win the league. I think if Man City, lose an element of hunger, not through want, but just through the fact that you won the treble, and you maybe not got that same hunger there, you're satiated. If they dip, then there's space for someone. So if that's not going to be the expectation, that's a dream. What's a B+ for you? What's enough?
enough for me, I think, would be top 4 and the league and a trophy. Just whether it's Europa League, League Cup. Like you say, if you finish above City, you've won the league. That's basically the way it works. So the ambition should be the title, of course. But in terms of what a B+ or a good season would be, I think getting back into top 4 to attract some more big name players just to build on what we have, and a trophy just to keep things smoothly ticking along, I think that would be a good season for us. And I think that's where the aim should ideally be. But if that opportunity arises for the title, go for it.
Okay, Ali?
B+ or highest ambition possible?
I think I guess we've kind of answered both. Like, where do you sit? I tell you, where will Liverpool finish?
Liverpool will finish second, and win the Europa League. There we go.
Okay. And why will they finish above Arsenal?
They will finish above Arsenal because I don't think Arsenal have as many answers as Liverpool do. And I think if we play in the 2 fixtures we play Arsenal, I would expect us to win at least the Anfield fixture. So, yeah, I just think Arsenal have, in a way, regressed from last year. And I wonder if Arteta's going a little bit too galaxy brain for their own good. And I think we're going about our business in a calmer way.
Okay, galaxy brain is getting written down in my notes for the next episode of The Narrative, which will be Arsenal, chatting to 3 Arsenal fans talking about their chances of winning the title. Guys, thank you so much. Links to the content of the guys, apart from Rich, I don't know if you've got content, we'll put your Twitter in there or something like that. It will be in the description. Go check out the guys. Go support the guys. Also, another reason to head into the description is to join the Discord server. If you want to win a pair of drip socks, we're giving away 5 and we're giving away stuff all the time because you lot are the best community on the planet. So join the Discord server.
True.
Get in the comments and let us know your name when it comes to the Discord server and we will pick 5 of you. Okay, so be ready. Guys, thank you so much. Really, really appreciate it. Up The Narrative. See you in the next one.